Don't you hate it when you're sitting at a park bench and there's a child nearby? And by happenstance, he's in your peripheral vision for a millisecond. Hey, man! Why are you looking at that child like that? What, are you a pedophile? Are you a groomer? What were you gonna pedophile this kid? Were you gonna pedophile this kid? No. I don't fucking believe you. I don't fucking die, pedophile. Wiley Wackford is a VR chat world and avatar creator, published 3D artist, cosplayer, scratch builder, and sci-fi nerd. If you're someone who frequents the Has Been Hotel VR chat community, you've most likely been to his world, Has Been Hotel Pilot, but he's recently gotten into some trouble. So what did he do? And is this video against or defending Wackford? Am I a friend of his or part of the angry mob? Honestly, the answer is neither. Context, for the few that are confused, there's currently a group going around Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss instances spreading the word of a supposed groomer named Wiley Wackford. At the time of making this, I've never talked to this guy before. I only heard of him yesterday. I'm not one of his friends, not friends of the ones against him. I came in as a completely unbiased witness to the aftermath of what happened, and honestly, at first I sided with the angry mob. Who wouldn't want to hate a pedophile/groomer? That's pretty much the worst thing anyone can be. I could have let those people spread the word and leave, but I decided to instead ask, what did he do specifically? To which I was told, Wiley Wackford himself admitted to having gone out of his way to teach a minor how to masturbate. But is that true? Wiley Wackford went out of his way to teach a minor how to masturbate. This is word for word what I was told. And seeing as this is the only piece of evidence, you might believe he's guilty. That was up until past the wave of this poster, like about a dozen of them. I found someone who I talked to who was apparently a friend of Wiley Wackford's, who painted the details more clearly. Now, why would I choose to believe this guy over the angry mob? Well, it all was just straight up more believable. And the mob itself was saying things that all contradicted each other. Different stories, different happenings. I chose to listen to what came off as more of a voice of reason. The one who wasn't probably being fueled by hate or spite in the moment. He told me, according to Wiley himself, all Wiley did was answer a question. Someone who was actually confirmed to be 16, not 14, as all of these people are saying, approached him on a public instance and asked the question, "Hey, what is masturbation?" And Wiley apparently answered by saying, if you need private time to yourself to be more happy. The only evidence this mob is preaching against him is that. He answered a minor's question, albeit not in a detailed manner as they say. They're telling everyone Wiley taught this minor how to masturbate in a public instance around a bunch of people that would clearly be very incriminating. How is that believable? And most of the witnesses that were actually there tell the story more similar to how Wiley does. Not all twisted like those who tell it through the grapevine. The main person leading these mobs, or at least taking control of them, is someone named supermriobro, who wears a Chris Hansen avatar. You know, the guy that puts people who seek out minors in real life behind bars where they're most likely killed by being shanked to death or something. Personally, I like to use a Shrek as my avatar, but to each their own. Now, how is what Wiley did comparable to that? Did he actively seek out this minor so eager to teach them the ways of doing the loop-de-loop and pull, or realistically was Wiley sitting in a public instance and the 16-year-old in question asked him a pretty uncomfortable question, which, while reluctantly, he gave a very simple, straightforward, and non-descriptive answer. There's a huge line between that and the type of absolute villains Chris Hansen puts behind bars, yet this group is treating this man as such. There are people out there actively seeking contact with minors and wanting to do absolutely diabolical things with them, yet you are dead set on this man being one of those people with no more evidence than he answered a question. You know you're being irrational to take such a huge jump from a man uncomfortably and non-descriptively answering a minor's question on what jacking off is, to this dude being down there with EDP, Ava Chris Tyson, and Dr. Disrespect. Hell, I hear they're trying to get the police involved based off this alone. Are you serious? Hello, police? I'd like to report a fucking pedo bastard. That's a pretty serious accusation, little Timmy. What did they do? They answered a question on VR chat. What the fuck is a VR chat? Be me, sitting in an instance, and I suddenly see a large group of people with this avatar of a poster saying wanted, dead or alive, wanted for grooming and pedophilia. Who did he groom? That 16-year-old? By vaguely answering them? Do you know what grooming means? By that logic, sex ed teachers and fathers telling their kids that birds and the bees are about just as guilty and are all groomers and pedophiles themselves. He wasn't cautious enough? Sure, because we shouldn't get to relax and we should always be on our toes to not say the wrong thing in the presence of a minor in a place a minor should not be. You realize Wiley at the time probably wasn't even thinking of the person's age, just saw it as a weird question? Look at it from his perspective. Someone walks up, you were probably just talking to your friends or chilling, and suddenly you're asked a pretty genuine question. So without a second thought, you answer it, figuring it's innocent enough to answer this, as they seem genuinely confused. In a has-been world, you should figure you're gonna be mostly surrounded by adults. You should be. It's a has-been world, which, need I mention, is rated TVMA. If Wiley was seeking out minors, why would he go to a place meant for adults? It just makes no sense. Because of the false info about this question he answered, a mob of hate is out for his blood. He's being accused of the worst because people are getting their information completely wrong and over-exaggerating it and blowing it out of the water. It sucks. The main reason I went out of my way to defend this creator is because this hate mob is wrong and they convince others they're right. The more they go around and spread false information, the bigger the mob gets. So far, I've only consistently heard the story of he taught a 14-year-old how to masturbate from them, and even then that's from the mob, not the people who are actually there. Yet in that, I've also heard multiple other things just completely thrown in that I've heard no more than one person say. Someone in the initial mob claimed, "I'm 14 and Wiley said he was gonna personally fuck me." That's way worse than what they're mainly accusing him of, so why aren't they leading with that? Most likely because it's not true. The person he taught to masturbate sounded 5. This again doesn't line up with what I've heard recently now saying that he sounds 10, so their numbers are just inconsistent. And Wiley said he openly adds minors on VRChat, which I questioned Wiley about, and he said possibly, but he's not adding people because of their age. Hell, you probably have minors added. Does that make you a pedo? Or realistically, did you add them because they're a friend, whether they can carry you in VRChat Fortnite or are just generally entertaining as a person? You act like the only reason someone would have a minor in their friends list is to prey on them, and you also neglect the fact that most minors will lie about their age so people will add them. But sadly, people take what the mob is saying at face value and believe it. This man doesn't deserve to have his career ruined, hell, maybe even his life ruined because a group of internet warriors think they're doing the right thing. Or maybe they don't. They could just be trolling and find enjoyment out of trying to ruin a dude's life, who knows. I have yet to mention that in the beginning of my research, I've seen the people against Wiley use the N-word not very sparingly, to say the least. And I also have not seen a single person against Wiley that is actually a fan of Has-Been Hotel or a member of the community, so they were most likely just in Has-Been Worlds to troll when they came across this incident. Also, Wiley addressed the trolls in a tweet, and somebody replied with, "Funny Goku image." This comes off pretty on par for the course considering the fact from what I've read, these people also attack minority groups. Which, while not confirmed, it seems likely if you look at some of the groups the main people against Wiley are in. There actually is this one video exposing Wiley, which I haven't seen yet, so let's watch it together and... oh. This video sucks. Even when one of Wiley's personal friends tries to tell the story as it is, people just straight up deny it completely. Ah yes, what is more believable? Man answered question or man is preying on minors in public instance surrounded by multiple witnesses. There are currently multiple videos against Wiley, and in one video that is just 5 minutes of them harassing him, supermriobro does not understand when you make something for a community, you don't control what the community does with it. Groups can make an instance of your world, and you really have no power over that specific instance in terms of rules. They do. To make a map and immediately dictate everything that happens there would be pretty 1984-ish, and you simply can't be in every instance at once. You act like it needs to be a job. Pedophilia obviously should be moderated, but that shouldn't be the concern of someone who makes stuff for a community when they're not directly involved. That's up to the people who are directly involved. That's like saying if you built a park in real life and you yourself have to be on lookout making sure nothing bad happens 24/7. To summarize, these people are out for Wiley's throat, when what he did is being severely blown out of proportion and lied about, with more evidence to back Wiley's claims than the ones attacking him. And honestly, this could very much so just be a group of trolls. They probably know what they have on Wiley is near nothing, and that's why they lie to make it look worse. But I really believe there are some in that bunch who genuinely think they're doing a service for everyone, when in reality, they're trying to eliminate a non-threat. Whether it be for a small amount of success or something more, we don't know why these people are lying and trying so hard to incriminate Wiley with little care for research and fact-checking. They hear someone say something and go, well, that's good enough for me. That's gonna wrap up this video. I interviewed Wiley and some of his friends and we'll be uploading that soon. Have a good one. Bye.